Part 34. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 331. Oreki-san walked in directly. He had noticed Horikita Suzun's state. Her state had become trance-like. Oreki-san. Kushida's best friend Wangmayu was about to leave the classroom when she found Oreki walking in. Horikita Suzun is on leave from her afternoon class. Oreki-san had already arrived at Horikita Suzun's table, held her wrist with his left hand, and said to the other people watching. At the same time, he glanced at the girl with short blonde hair in the front row at the podium table, so he took Horikita's hand and walked out. Horikita's body was passively led by Oreki, and she followed him outside, but she didn't speak. They came directly outside, and there were some upperclassmen outside. Oreki noticed that the upperclassmen around him did not point fingers at Horikita, which meant that the sudden rumors were limited to Class C for the time being, just as Kushida said. No. If it was these idiots from Class C, then other classes would know about it because of the spy. The phone he put in his pocket had vibrated several times. Probably even the classmates in the class also obtained this information. Then report to him. And this also shows that during this period, probably all the lower grades in the 4 classes of ABCD knew about this matter. But now is not the time to focus on this. Horikita said nothing as Oreki forcefully took him outside. In other words, her mood has not stabilized yet. But Oreki still had to speak. Calm down. Although I have roughly guessed what happened, there are rumors going against you in Class C. And this is Kushida's plan. She should be the one who spread the word. Kushida. Kushida-san, who was stared at by Oreki-san in the classroom before and then followed him, thought he was hearing hallucinations. Because she reported the situation to him in advance before the spies he had raised in Oreki's class reported. Then it was helpful. As a result, he is now said to be the mastermind. What a day. Kushida felt a little weird. Just being told this, she decided to keep her distance and stand far away. Because she was good at recognizing atmosphere, she could tell that Oreki was comforting Horikita Suzun. This is Kushida's conspiracy, Oreki-san said. So you have to calm down. If you mess up, then I'm afraid the negative consequences will be even greater. Horikita. When she heard that this was Kushida's attack, Horikita Suzun seemed to finally have some reaction. P.S. I'm back. I can only say that I don't pay enough attention to my health. At the beginning, I started eating passion fruit that I just took out of the refrigerator. As a warning, please keep it for 2 or 3 hours before eating fruits and other fruits taken out of the refrigerator. Chapter 129. Is this Kushida's return? I was wronged. After hearing that someone was instigating it, the culprit was even identified. Horikita-san seems to be a little more stable. After all, if the mastermind was Kushida, she still knew it. Kushida has always hated her, so he might do something like this. And now, what is emerging are rumors about her brother, this kind of thing. I know, Horikita said, I will calm down. But she held her hand. How can I calm down? The whole class knows, all know, such a senior, a third-year student, I will definitely be used as material to attack my brother and cause him trouble. Horikita was very emotional, like Yamauchi just now. He directly asked me if I had received any news from my brother. Wouldn't this have already damaged my brother's reputation? And the other girls also want me to gain some convenience from my brother who is the student council president. This kind of thing, Horikita-san muttered. Oreki-san looked at her quietly. In this state, Horikita-san has completely lost the ability to think for himself. Falling into one's own predicament. Then he put a hand on Horikita's shoulder. He thought about it when he received the information reported by Kushida that the relationship between Horikita Suzun and Horikita-san's brother and sister was leaked. The reason why Horikita Alumni Association is afraid of such rumors is because they feel that her existence may bring danger to the idol's brother, and she will not be able to help and will be a hindrance. This is a kind of inferiority complex. It's the mentality of a weak sister. But it's just immature. Because there's something wrong with your way of thinking, Oreki-san said. With the leak of the relationship between Chairman Horikita's brother and sister, the situation may not be so bad. You think this is a bad thing, but it can actually be seen as a good thing. Because although you were assigned to Class D, your current class is Class C. Even if it's only 10 points different from Ryuan's class, it's still Class C. At the same time, your class's score on the island exam and its current status are enough for other classes to care about. So even if it is revealed that she is the sister of the student council president and she is initially assigned to Class D, there will be no shame. In fact, not only is it not embarrassing, it is even something that makes the student council president look good. Because to others, they didn't know that Horikita's class was so bad. Rather say, it's surprising. Horikita's class actually did pretty well by getting points in the Kojima exam and even showing up at the sports festival. At the same time, Class D can break through and go up to Class C only 2 or 3 times in this school. Therefore, people who eat melons will still think that they are very powerful. In this way, maybe Horikita Suzune doesn't feel it now, but she actually made a name for herself. Most of the students in Class C are still pigs and believe everyone they say. So in their eyes, it is a rumor. They want to know whether it is true and then get convenience from it, but they do not understand the value of it. Because there are many people among the seniors in the third or second years who admire Horikita Gaku. Therefore, if Horikita Suzune's identity as Horikita Manabu's younger sister is exposed, she will get bonuses in terms of seeking help and gaining popularity. This is the aura from Horikita Manabu. Horikita brother is very respected and powerful. And even if Horikita graduates and leaves school, this part of the influence can be passed down to his sister like property. So in Oreki-san's analysis, it's actually not that bad. After all, if we take little Princess Sakayanagi as an example, Sakayanagi-san is the daughter of the school's chairman. Once this news is exposed, she will be questioned as to whether she entered Class A through the back door, but it will also greatly increase her popularity. Because the news that she is a high-ranking official, a powerful person, and the sister of the student council president really gives the other party extra points. People like to be around powerful people. So, in a way, this is actually good news. However, Horikita Suzune didn't seem to understand this. Now she only has a weak side. I feel that my presence is causing trouble to my brother. Oreki-san is also responsible for this. He concealed Horikita's sister's growth progress from Horikita Manabu, but in fact, this incident had a targeted attack on Horikita Suzune's weaknesses. So she was completely at a loss. Anyway, calm down now. Oreki-san gently hugged her. This action would normally result in someone being asked to return 3 days' worth of books, but Horikita Suzune didn't seem to notice it yet. Such was her uneasy state. But if she calmed down, she might be able to think for herself, but judging from her appearance, it was obvious that she couldn't do it for a while. When hugging Horikita-san, Oreki took out his cell phone. On the way out with Horikita, the phone kept vibrating. And now, as expected, the students in the class reported the information that Horikita Suzune from Class C is the sister of the student council president. The students in Class A get it from the students in Class C, but Class C is a sieve, the youth version of the winery, so it's almost the same. The first graders will probably know it by the next class. And by tomorrow, I'm afraid the whole school will know. If you consider the situation after Horikita Gakuin graduates, then Oreki-san doesn't think it's necessary to stop him. On the contrary, I feel that the rumors can continue. But it still needs to be dealt with. The current Horikita sister is not mature enough. So. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 332. Oreki-san sent a message to Kushida-san who was following him. Let her take the blame first and be the bad guy. About 2 minutes passed. The little angel with short blonde hair, Kushida Kikyo, came trotting over. She had already confirmed the message from Oreki repeatedly. Because Oreki actually asked her to come over to act, and even asked her to take the blame for this rumor incident. Then make Horikita-san feel at ease. The theory is that if the rumors are released by an unknown person, it will make people more uneasy, so it is better to find a tool to take the blame first, so that people will feel less pressure. So is this tool person her? What the hell? Why would she do such a thing? She just felt that she had heard an auditory hallucination, but now she was asked to confirm it. But she couldn't refuse the offer Oreki-san offered her. I can guarantee that Amasawa Ichika will not push you to the ground and rub you in the second grade, by Oreki Houtarou. Kushida. So, what the hell is Amasawa Ichika? Why is Houtarou Oreki so sure that this Amasawa Jr. can push her to the ground and rub her? But isn't this why I have been compromising and serving the other party? So the new students are so annoying. In this way, Kushida accepted the blame-taking move this time. She probably understood that Horikita seemed to have received a knowing blow, and it was basically confirmed that Horikita Suzun was indeed Horikita Manabu's younger sister. Did she actually want to fight with the student council president's sister before? Are you so brave? Kushida didn't think that the student council president would let her go after forcing Suzun Horikita to drop out. She was arranged by Oreki-san to contact the seniors from Class C and Class D in the 3rd grade, and she also obtained information about the student council president from the seniors. The quality of students in Class A, where the student council president is located, is not actually that high, but relying on the strength of Horikita Academy, Class A is maintained and there is a huge gap between it and other classes. In other words, it was one person leading a class of strong men. Very scary, okay. In other words, she was really lucky that she didn't do anything more extreme to Horikita Suzun. Then you have to help me clear my name in the future, by Kushida. Considering this, Kushida did not fully agree. That's why it took her 2 minutes to come over. Because Horikita Suzun will definitely believe it when she takes the blame. After all, she had a reason against her. Although Horikita-san is not that strong, she will feel pressure if she is targeted by the sister of the student council president. Because if Horikita Suzun asked her brother for help, wouldn't Kushida Kikyo have no choice but to drop out of school? So Kushida didn't want to leave the situation even worse. In this way, after receiving the order, Kushida Kikyo ran over carefully and nervously from a distance. She knew very well that she was here to take the blame. So now acting is used. Great, she pressed her chest gently with her hand. Horikita-san, I thought you would run away to other places. What was spread in the class must be just rumors, so now come back with me and tell everyone, explain it and make peace with everyone. Kushida is like a little angel, treating everyone equally, so when Horikita is troubled by rumors, she immediately acts as a bridge to help. If we just worry about our friends and treat them as equals, Kushida-san has done a great job. But according to Horikita Suzun, Kushida definitely had selfish motives. Because her words are poisonous. What does she want Horikita to go back and explain? Are you going to confirm the rumors and admit that she is indeed the sister of the student council president Horikita Manabu? Once a rumor occurs, no matter what the person in the rumor says, no one will believe it. Same reason. So even if Horikita denies it when she goes back, others will think that she just doesn't admit it. Horikita Suzun said nothing and just looked at Kushida. The feeling of just staring at people without speaking is very permeating. Horikita-san, Kushida looked like he was being stared at and felt uncomfortable. If this is also acting, then it is indeed amazing. Tell Chibashira-sensei for me that I'm asking for leave today. Horikita Suzun also reacted. But she said this to Kushida. Then he looked at Oreki-san. I can't quite control myself right now, so I'm going to calm down. In other words, evacuate the current environment now. This is a good plan. After she said this, she shrank and walked towards the dormitory. Leave Kushida alone. Ignore Kushida completely. This is different from the situation in the past when he wanted to extend a hand of friendship, cooperation, and non-interference to the traitor Kushida. Now Horikita is cold and cold. He almost regarded Kushida as an enemy. She took in what Oreki-san said was the news spread by Kushida, which meant that Kushida Kikyo was an absolute enemy. Such intrigues were used against her. But being able to listen does not mean that you can accept it. Horikita felt that she was a failure, so she had to skip class and go back to the dormitory. She wanted to stay well. Because of this state, not only was it impossible to attend class, but it was even uncomfortable to be talked to by the classmates around me. At the same time, I couldn't calm down. So Horikita Suzun chose to leave. Kushida's smile froze on his face. Although she was mentally prepared, Horikita Suzun really left in such a cold voice, as expected. That's why I hate her. She doesn't understand anything about human nature. Kushida's attitude was not very good. That's enough, Oreki-san said. Now she is convinced that you are the mastermind. Kushida. Then when will you help me clear my name? Kushida immediately asked. It will take a while, Oreki-san said. I've been helping Horikita ask for leave from Chibashira-sensei for the past few days. It's okay for her to go to school, or she's okay not to go. I am prepared to let this rumor pass. So I am not prepared to resolve this matter immediately. Kushida. You're weird. Kushida-san said. As a person with many friends, Kushida is usually similar to Hirata, dealing with various people's troubles, and then gaining favor, and then being regarded as a trustworthy person. Among them, she has experience in dealing with rumors and other topics several times. But there was never any kind of, let the rumors continue to spread. Look at the rumors for yourself. The core thing now is that Horikita Suzun is Horikita Manabu's younger sister, right? This is true. And Horikita Gakushu will graduate in 1 semester, and he will definitely graduate as Class A, an outstanding graduate. But Horikita Suzun will remain in the school, and she will gain status like the younger sister of the former student council president. And you also know that she is collecting points to fly solo, right? Your class is so bad that any knowledgeable person would want to run away. But under such circumstances, she collected 20 million points and flew to Class A. It's quite reasonable, isn't it? After all, she is the sister of the student council president. The students in your class are more stupid, but other classes and other grades are different. They will grasp the real part of this rumor. Oh. That's it? In this way, even if Horikita Suzun flew to Class A, it would be justifiable. She won't even be squeezed out by others because she flew to other classes, but will treat her as a helper or something. Therefore, Horikita's treatment in the new class is still very good even after her solo career. Rather than being unable to integrate in, or even being regarded as a sacrifice for dropping out of school in the next exam. Kushida. So, is this rumor actually good for Horikita Suzun? Day. And please stop being so straight-faced. Oreki-san checked the time on his phone. There is not much time left for lunch break. He didn't ask for leave, so he had to go back to class. Actually, you compromised because you were timid, Oreki-san said. At first you were not convinced that Horikita Suzun was the sister of the student council president, but then you saw how vulnerable Horikita Suzun was to this rumor. Then it was basically confirmed that Susan Horikita is indeed the sister of the student council president. So if I think about targeting Horikita-san, I will have to face pressure from the student council president. That means I'm worried about being retaliated by the student council president. So you've given up, right? Oreki-san said. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 333. Day. Since you know this embarrassing thing, and there are only two people here, she and him, can't you keep it in your heart and not say it out loud? So, there were actually a few minutes left before lunch break, but Kushida-san felt that he needed to find a place where there were no cameras. Because everyone saw her chasing Horikita-san out, there was a reason to go back a little later. So, doesn't Oreki-san have a good relationship with Horikita-san? And this time we just adopt a laissez-faire attitude. After Oreki returned to class, at the end of the afternoon get out of class, the girl with straight silver hair sitting next to him spoke to him. This is Sakayanagi Arisu. After the lunch break, until now, this time has been enough for everyone to get information from Class C and start rumors. Therefore, Itayanaga now also knows what happened to Horikita-san in Class C. The sibling relationship between Horikita Susan and the student council president Horikita Manabu is revealed. And then there was a reaction. Then I noticed that after returning to the classroom, Oreki-san didn't give any instructions. That said, the rumors continue. I asked Horikita to go back and rest directly, Oreki-san said. She's going to take a few days off. Then the rumors will probably spread even more violently. Banliu. Oh. It seems that Oreki-san wants to use Horikita Susan's chess piece, Sakayanagi Arisu said quickly. Are you interested in the position of student council president? This is very Sakayanagi. Due to Oreki-san's laissez-faire attitude, she immediately realized what would happen if this rumor continued to spread. As long as the student council president doesn't deny it. In other words, it is impossible for Horikita Manabu to deny it. After all, Horikita Susan is indeed his sister, so will he deny such a thing? Will not. So, in the end, he first allowed the rumors to spread, and then borrowed Horikita Manabu's habit of not denying it. Then this will be confirmed. All the students in the school knew that Horikita's younger sister also attended the school and was in the first grade. It's the next semester now, so Horikita will graduate in just a few months. A speech will also be given. However, during his tenure as student council president, a considerable number of students admired him. Then, as long as the next person who is equivalent to the student council president makes a move to bring Horikita Susan into the student council, he can get the votes of many people who originally supported Horikita Manabu. There are only two conditions for the election of student council president. One, recommendation by the student council president to grant qualifications. 2, the whole school students vote. The whole school students here include first year, second year, and third year students. So, you can almost get most of the votes from the third graders, and some of the votes from the second graders if Nagamo doesn't interfere. This is a very cheap, but very effective way of canvassing votes. No wonder Sakayanagi thinks so. Only, I'm not interested in the position of student council president, Oreki said. I've observed President Horikita's work. He has to do a lot of work every day, and he doesn't have weekends. So once he becomes the student council president, personal time will be greatly reduced. The school gives students the greatest authority, but as the pinnacle of students, the student council president is also busy to the max. But if Sakayanagi-san is willing to take over the class, then I will help you canvass votes. Sakayanagi. Sakayanagi-san curled his lips. You know that Horikita works very hard, But why do you want her to work so hard? So Sakayanagi-san decided not to talk to Oreki-san that day. Just like Oreki-san did, he did not continue to interfere in the rumors. But it's not completely immobile. For example, he also asked Kushida to use her network to spread the rumors to the upperclassmen. After all, the channels and methods of contact between freshmen and upperclassmen are limited. So someone needs to thread the needle. At the same time, the senior students were curious after learning this information. Even Nagaun Masaru looked confused. Because, before, he thought Oreki's Susan was quite beautiful, a top-notch beautiful girl, but it turned out to be President Horikita's. Then, he didn't dare to have any ideas at all. So, rumors were circulating among the freshmen, and the same was true among the upperclassmen. Although Horikita Manabu didn't say anything, he seemed to have acquiesced in the fact that Horikita Susan was his sister. During this period, it also happened that Horikita-san returned to class. She felt that after a day, she had calmed down. But today is the 1st. First of all, congratulations. No one dropped out of school in the special examination that just ended. Then, this is your average and passing grade in math. Chibashira then wrote 36 and 18 points on the blackboard. Among them, 38 points is the average score. It's the score everyone got divided by the number of people. This score is pretty good. It shows that even though Hirata worked hard to lower the score value for those who could get better scores, all subjects were fixed at 51 points. But in the end, there are still many people who are holding back. And, unfortunately, you did not receive a class evaluation score in this exam. Chibashira-sensei said this. However, exams are also continuing this month. And the exam is still a written test. The questions are still set by the school, the assessment is based on this month's learning content. I hope you will continue to study hard, Chibashira said. And the rewards for exam evaluation scores are the same as last month. Why is this like this? XN classmates became very noisy. Because I studied hard for a month. So most students are in a bad mood because they are studying every day. At the same time, doesn't this mean that we have to study every day this month? And if the current situation continues, they will still not be able to receive living expenses next month. Because everyone's achievements are there. This is an exam question. For Horikita Suzune, there will be no problems in the exam. After all, she had never been distracted in class. But something was wrong on her end. It's in terms of points. Because the average score of Class C's written test last month was lowered, although no one dropped out, they did not receive any class evaluation points. But the class's class evaluation score of 530 points does not belong to them. So after everyone comes here in the morning, they need to transfer the points from the school on their student ID cards to Takahiraji and Horikita Suzune respectively. This was agreed upon from the beginning. Only, there are some exceptions. That is, there were 40 students in the class, and 12 students refused to give Horikita's share and Oreki-san's share of private points worth 320 class evaluation points. Then, after the class meeting is over, Horikita Suzune, who wanted to claim the missing points, was surrounded by her classmates instead. But the special test this time is still a written test. Although we held a study session, it was really too difficult, a girl said. That's right, Horikita-san, I hope you will teach us how to study in the future, some boys also suggested. Horikita Suzune participated in the study session at Kushida's invitation in the middle of last month. But some students wanted to quit midway, so she only taught for 7 days. Kushida and the others will be responsible for the follow-up. But now, do you hope she can help? If you want to learn, I will also participate in the study session. And this month's points Horikita Susan hadn't noticed what they were thinking. But she also has the task of collecting everyone's points and transferring them to Oreki-san. Huh? I didn't mean to study, right? It's something that your brother can see with his permission. I want something like that. That's right, it's the answer to the test paper, the classmate exposed his true colors. And if you can give me this, then I will continue to give you the points. I don't understand what you are talking about at all. How can you get such convenient things? People who don't use their brains will become stupid. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 334. Horikita was speechless. Moreover, points are not the price you can use to make a transaction, but the result agreed upon by everyone at the beginning. Haha, I think your attitude is too bad, Horikita-san. That's right. You have received a lot from your brother who is the student council president, so it doesn't matter if you give us a little benefit. Your brother has accumulated so many points, so isn't it okay to take less from us? We have had no living expenses for 2 months and can no longer afford a decent meal. And after your brother graduates, can't you go directly to Class A? So you have to get rid of us like this. Such harsh accusations suddenly appeared. And this is how Horikita Susan ran out of class yesterday. But back then it was just Yamauchi making idiotic remarks, but now it's not just Yamauchi. She was surrounded by 7 or 8 classmates. And the statement is even more exaggerated. What do you mean, go directly to Class A? What do you mean? Don't you know yet? It has been announced to the senior class as well that the student union will give my sister 20 million points when she graduates. Then you can go to Class A. It's great to have such an awesome brother. So Horikita Susan asked for leave again. Oreki-san also received this message. But his class meeting continued. Chapter 130. Ichi knows, if you were in Horikita Susan's position, your choice would be. Oreki-san's class meeting is still going on. Congratulations on getting a class evaluation score of 100 points in this exam. Although the score is not very high, I think it is reasonable to get it. Teacher Mashima from Class A in a suit said. The students in Class A are indeed the best. Although the students in this class did not get a perfect score of 100 in every subject. But the average score has reached 88 points. You must know that this is a paper issued by the school. There is no way to cheat or shortcuts. What is needed is everyone's own efforts. So I am really proud to receive this honor. However, it seems that except for Class C, all other classes have been awarded class evaluation points. After the exam, the class evaluation scores of each class were also updated. Oreki-san's first-year Class A has a score of 2,151. Ichino's first-year Class B has a score of 1,020. Horikita-san's first-year Class C has a score of 530. Ryuyuen's first-grade Class D has a score of 570. All 4 classes in the first grade, except Class C, received awards. However, Class A and Class B received a class evaluation score of 100 points. Class D, Longyuen's class, received a class evaluation score of 50 points. And here in Longyuen class, a familiar scene emerged. That's when the digital teacher on the class teachers board informed them of the incident. School staff arrived and changed their class cards from Class D, Grade 1, to Class C, Grade 1. It looks like this is a victory for our class. After Ryuan resigned during the holidays, Kaneda-san was pushed out to take charge. The combined average score of each subject in their class was 63 points. If you pass the average score required by the class examination rules and get 60 plus, you will be rewarded with a class evaluation score of 50 points. And now, the class evaluation scores have shot up. Return to Class C again. So it's not wrong to say this is a victory. The salary of the digital teacher on the board is the same as that of the students, and it is obtained at 7 o'clock on the first of every month. So this morning he restored the salary of Class C. Good mood. After the class meeting is over, everyone will transfer all the 5,000 points to me, Canada said. This is the share that will be transferred to Jung. This time he made the overall academic performance of our class rise a lot. For their class's exam this time, they invited Jung Temple to teach. But there is a price. The private points generated from the 50-point class evaluation score need to be given to Jung and continue until the graduation position. And this is equivalent to selling points. But what about selling points? For everyone in the class, through this tutoring session, everyone's grades have been improved. Although there are still some parts that are worse, they barely failed. Overall, academic ability is improved, which is very useful for future written examinations. So that's a good thing. But now everyone's account has more than 50,000 points for living expenses, and a student can live a very good life with 30,000 to 40,000 points for normal living expenses. In this way, there is still room for collecting some points, but Canada is not prepared to collect everyone's points immediately and return them to Class B. After all, Shiana-san also said that their class is now sprinting towards living expenses. Therefore, we will not continue to spend money abroad. Anyway, the angels in Class B are easy to talk to. And he looked toward the center of the classroom. Ryuan Sho sits in the center of the classroom. Ryuan opened a book of mathematics and calmly held up the book to read. You must know that he is the tyrant in the class, and his fists are supreme. Result: actually studying. It gives people a very weird feeling. But there's nothing we can do about it. Ryuan has lost his momentum, and it's already good that he can still cooperate without making any disturbing moves. But because of this, everyone in the class has lost their violent rule, so now they can only use points to soften it up. However, the exams next month will still be written exams, so study will continue, Canada said. It's really troublesome. But that's all it can do. Although there are some complaints, the situation in Long Yuan class is not too bad. Because the study session has lasted for 2 months, I don't have the courage to refuse. Not to mention, everyone has seen their own scores, which are indeed good. Therefore, for the current Long Yuan class, it is considered to be prosperous. And here in Class B, Grade 1. Everyone is really working hard, Class B's homeroom teacher Hoshinomi Yachie said, and then wrote the evaluation scores of each class on the blackboard. The average score of everyone who took this exam was 81 points. I met the rules of the exam and was rewarded with a class evaluation score of 100 points. And she knew very well that some students in the class actually had dangerous scores. However, everyone worked hard. She saw this too. In fact, the students in Class B have been working very hard since the second month after enrolling. And now, even though the score is more than 1,000 points behind Class A, which is disappointing, I haven't given up. This is touching. In fact, as a rather strange person, Hoshinomi Yachie saw the children's efforts. This was an impetus that the students in Class B she had taught in the past did not have. Only. It's a pity too. Because she is not a dedicated teacher, or she didn't come in wanting to be a teacher in the first place, but came in because of Chibashira. But Chibashira was ready to leave. What will she do next? Chibashira was relieved, but she was at a loss. And even if he left the school with Chibashira, he was now facing the students for the last time. She also wanted to show off her energy. Just watching the little angels in Class B working so hard made her suffer. Because the harder you work, the deeper you will understand the gap between you and Class A. So, Class B is still hopeless. She couldn't see the way up. So what should she do with her life? In this way, The students in Class B work extremely hard, but the head teacher of Class B is extremely discouraged. After the class meeting of Class A, Oreki-san looked at the message from Kushida. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 335. Horikita-san arrived at class and then left early. Although the time is a bit tight, the school rumors have already taken effect. Then there is no point in delaying it any longer. Because he has no interest in hurting Horikita Suzune. Oreki-san thought to himself. Then Oreki-san started sending a message to a special person to meet during the lunch break. Only. Do you finally want to intervene, Oreki-san? Came the cute girl's voice from the next door seat. But there was no joy in her voice. And this is Sakayanagi-san. Oreki-san. The day before yesterday, when the rumor incident had just begun, Sakayanagi-san seemed to have started to get angry in the afternoon. I didn't talk to him for 2 days in a row. After all, the goal has been achieved, Oreki-san said. So we have to start dealing with it? Is it? Sakayanagi Yuzo curled his lips. Then you really care about her, Yuzo, Sakayanagi said. It can't be said that he was sympathetic. Because he kind of intervened to make the rumors spread further and further, and rumors can hurt Horikita-san. So he was hurting Horikita-san. But this is a consideration. The identity of the student council president's sister is revealed, which is a completely beneficial thing for Horikita Suzune. Therefore, compared with the problems caused by the identity exposure later, it is most efficient to directly use this rumor to show off the cards now. And he had some guesses about the background of the rumors. Then this result occurred. Only. Oreki-san's eyes fell on Sakayanagi-san's lovely stretched cheeks. Sakayanagi-san is definitely angry here. Oreki-san. He has never had close contact with girls, but Kushida-san often says that he needs to pay more attention to girls' moods. So Sakayanagi uses current situation, to describe it, is like being jealous. Is he jealous because he wants to help Horikita Suzune? Horikita-san is his partner and future wife. So it's natural to help her. But obviously this kind of thing cannot be said directly to Banlieu-san. If the same situation happens to Sakayanagi-san, Oreki said, then I won't let the rumors continue to spread. It will be done in about half a day, Oreki said. Oh. It seemed that after receiving a barely acceptable answer, Banlieu still curled his lips, but at least his attitude softened. So, do you want to have dinner together during lunch break? She extended an invitation. Yet Oreki-san nodded. The Divine Room. The Divine Room. For Kamuro-san, this was another sign that he had to make 3 meals alone. So she is really hard-working. But this is not what she is most concerned about right now. What she focused on was Itayanagi Yuzu's attitude. Because Sakayanagi, you are a bit too easy to handle. Although he was in class, Oreki didn't say that much information. But what he is saying now is that if there are rumors that Banlieu is the chairman's daughter, then he will not encourage the rumors, but will deal with it immediately. This is different from the rumors about Horikita Suzune that have been circulating for 2 or 3 days. But that's because the students knew that Horikita-san was the sister of the student council president, and Itayanagi was the chairman's daughter. The seriousness of the 2 incidents was completely different. If the rumor that Itanyu is the daughter of the chairman spreads widely, it will first directly affect Itanyu Yuki. Then there is Banlieu's father. From Itaiji, both she and Oreki knew that the new school principal was Mr. Ayanokaji, whom Oreki had arranged for her to follow before. So, once the rumors about Banlieu appear, this will be a gap for others to attack Chairman Itanyu, so naturally it must be dealt with immediately. So, what Oreki said was completely different from what Horikita Suzune encountered. The levels are all different. So you have been deceived. Sakayanagi. Thinking like this, Kamuro suddenly noticed a line of sight on her. For it was Houtarou Oreki who was looking at her. And Oreki-san smiled at her. The divine room. So Kamuro-san looked at the textbook honestly. Really annoying. Because there is still a written exam at the end of this month. After having dinner with Itaiji at noon, Oreki-san asked that special person out. It's Hanami Ichinose. Ever since he entered school, little angel Ichinose owed him a lot of favors. Of course, this is a courtesy, and Oreki-san has consulted her about her relationship. Then he asked her for study materials. So it's a type of mutual aid. In this way, it is very convenient for two people to meet each other. Ichinose immediately agreed. So, what do you want to tell me? Ichinose was very punctual. Oreki-san told her in advance that they would meet at 12:30, and she was waiting at the agreed place at 25:00. So when he went to the agreed place, Ichinose Hanami was already there. The archangel was wearing socks today, but this made his legs even more dazzling. She put her hands behind her waist and threw her beautiful long hair behind her, looking like a beautiful picture from a distance. Her cheeks were a little shy and rosy. The meeting place was Kushida-san's secret base. But because too many people came here, she had given up here. But Ichinose is also very familiar with this place, because this place can also be regarded as the place of her dark history. This is where she was confessed to by her fellow classmate Chihiro Shirami. Ichinose, what happened to you recently? Oreki-san asked. What and what? Ichinose didn't know why. But this means that she was indeed not included in the rumored attack. It's about Horikita-san, Oreki-san said. I hope this matter will be brought to an end, that is to say, the finishing touches will be carried out. Meow, is that really what happened? The little angel's eyebrows suddenly drooped. Kushida can be said to be a person in the first grade who is quite good at collecting information, because she has a good relationship with most people. And the relationship with people who are difficult to get along with is also very good. So basically everyone is willing to tell her. But there is still someone in this grade in this school who can rival Kushida Kikyo. Maybe even surpass her. That was Ichinose. Archangel in the academy. Oreki-san just wanted to let everyone in the school know that Horikita Suzun is the sister of the student council president, so now the goal has been achieved. Then there is no need for rumors or anything like that. So it needs to be dealt with immediately. But if it is ordinary processing, then just get others to stop talking about it. It would definitely not be possible in the outside world, but it can be done in the school, because the school only consists of students and faculty. And the faculty and staff do not care about your students. So as long as the students stop talking about it, then it can be dealt with. But just ask Kushida to help with this kind of thing. Then there is no need for Ichinose to come over. And Ichinose-san also knows that Oreki-san has a good relationship with Horikita-san and Kushida-san. So I was a little confused as to why Oreki-san invited me instead of Kushida. Because you are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 336. Oreki-san didn't come here to ask Ichinose for such a favor. If you understand, then things will be easier to talk about. So, how much do you know about that rumor? Oreki said. Ahaha, but Archangel Ichinose became nervous instantly. Oreki-kun, your expression is a bit scary now. I think you understand, I did not participate in the spread of rumors. It seemed like she was having a hard time too. She was worried that Oreki would come out to ask her if she was involved in this matter. Well, of course I know, I'm not doubting you. Yeah, that's great. I can see how much you value this matter. Ichi-nose breathed a sigh of relief. I want to know the source of the rumors, Oreki-san said. I consulted Kushida-san, but she wouldn't tell me which class originally spread the rumor. That's it. Ichi-nose played with her hair gently. I have a lot of friends, but I don't like talking bad about others. But, Ichi-nose said, I have also investigated this matter. With that said, she took out a small notebook from her pocket and opened it. This shows that she has done her homework smartly, or that she wants to repay the favor to Oreki-san after finding out about it. Ichino-san was already prepared. She opened the notebook. As far as I know, there are 3 main rumors among our first graders. The first one is that Horikita Suzun is the younger sister of the current student council president Horikita Manabu. The second one is that the student council president told her the previous test questions and the direction of the exam. The third one is that the student council president is planning to transfer 2,000 to her when she graduates. Wan's personal points were transferred to her. Is that all? Rumors seem pretty normal. But whether it is the first, second, or third part, they all revolve around the relationship between Horikita and Horikita Manabu as siblings. That's all I have at the moment. I asked people in the class who heard this rumor from. I traced it back to Horikita-san's class, but after tracing it further, I found out that the source of the news was from Class D. No, it's already gone now. It's Class C, so I heard it from people in Class C now. Ryuan-san discovered that Horikita-san had met in private with the student council president during the vacation, and then he speculated. Among them, Kushida was only asked by him to spread rumors to the upperclassmen, so what Ichi-nose is talking about in the first grade has nothing to do with Kushida. However, Class D has now been promoted to Class C, which is the class of Hiri and Ryuan. But Long Yuan has resigned and doesn't have the energy anymore. So, the only person who can be suspected is Hiri Shiina. After Hiri-san fell down in Ryuan, he climbed up. But she basically gave up the hope of being promoted to Class A, but she didn't want to graduate just like that. And there are opportunities to make money in school. So I started working hard to make money. That is to say, you can do whatever it takes to get points. Then it is possible to direct and act on your own, and then get points from Horikita-san on the pretext of helping to eliminate the current crisis. Or you can confirm the information that Horikita-san is the sister of the student council president, participate in the student council election, and then get Horikita-san's trump card, or you can resell this trump card and get a good price. Did he? At this time, Oreki-san received a message from Kuruzawa. Sato and I went to the cafeteria to bring food to Horikita-san, and then we found Shiina from Class C sneaking around Horikita-san's door. Then we drove Shiina-san away. Okay. Never mind. You are still so fierce. It seems Hiri Shiina from Class C is the mastermind, Oreki said. Ryuan has given up, so there are changes in their class. Is that so? Ichi-nose nodded slightly. Then what role did Oreki-san play in this rumor incident? Oreki. In other words, Ichi-nose's social network must also know that Oreki-san is arranging for Kushida to spread rumors to the upperclassmen. So, he was involved in this. At the same time, rumors spread from Ryuan's class this time, and Ichi-nose and the others probably discovered Ryuan's condition after a month of observation. The relationship between Suzun Horikita and Manabu Horikita discovered by Ryuan is obviously false. So Long Yuan is just the one taking the blame. So the matter seems to need to be investigated further. I think it's best that you don't know, Oreki-san said. Because this is where your opinion of me will go down. Well, I understand. Archangel Ichi-nose nodded quickly. So, how can I help now? Yes, Oreki-san said. I hope you will teach Horikita Suzun how to resolve rumors. This is her greatest weakness, being attacked. Then it was the most helpless situation for her, Oreki-san said. Really, Ichino seemed a little melancholy when he heard this. When the biggest weakness is attacked, then if it were me, then I might be more than Horikita-san. Ichino's, Oreki-san looked over. Ichino seemed to have said something quite terrifying. Well, it's nothing, Archangel. Ichino shook his head quickly. It's as if the statement just made does not exist. Then the two of them walked towards the girls' dormitory together. Horikita Suzun is staying in the dormitory at the moment. Almost in a state of isolation. After escaping from the classroom, she was sighing. Sure enough, she still didn't make much progress. She clearly knows what she needs to do, and she also clearly knows that there are so many good ways to deal with the current situation. But she still escaped from the class. She was absent from class yesterday, sitting in her room reflecting and thinking about possible remedies. Since the enemy is Kushida, then use means to counterattack. Only. Sure enough, even if she tried to pretend to ignore those rumors, it was useless. She did not dare to stay in the classroom at all, and was very worried that her immaturity would directly bring indelible slander to her brother. She is still weak. So immature. She was quite annoying to both her classmates and herself today. Those in the same class think about profit and convenience. As for her, she was still the one holding back her excellent brother because of her own weakness. She hated herself like this. Obviously I came here to follow in the footsteps of my outstanding brother, but now I am doing something that is holding me back. Or she really should have dropped out of school as soon as she enrolled. Ah. Oreki-san, it might be a failure for you to keep her. Horikita pulled the quilt so that it covered his head. The phone was on the bed, displaying a message she had already read. I will come to the dormitory to find you now, by Oreki Houtarou. And this time. Ding dong, the doorbell rang. This made her sit up from under the quilt. Kuruzawa-san and Sato-san came here just now. And Hiyori-san has also been here. But Hiyori-san is here to ask for money. She said that as long as she paid 1 million, her current predicament could be solved. Ah. Sure enough, she is a waste. Are you no longer able to handle it on your own? She came to the door. But instead of opening the door, he turned on the video intercom. There is no ordinary dormitory, but last night she was alone in self-reflection. Oreki-san came and knocked on the door, but she did not respond, so he led the administrator to open her door and installed this video intercom. The reason is that after the rumor spreads, some unsighted people may come and knock on her door, and installing a video intercom can be used to identify whether to open the door. Considering that she was being taken care of by him again, she decided to cheer up today and went to the classroom. In the end, he still ran out. Every time, it was Oreki-san who helped her clean up the mess. She is indeed a waste. Horikita sighed inwardly, remembering that students in her class would sometimes ask her if Oreki-san from class A was dating her. And she understands it herself. Oreki-san's requests from her have increased during this time. And she didn't have many books left for him to take to the library and return. Perhaps. Maybe she would just be kicked out of school, and if Oreki still wanted her, it would be better to just get married. There was an empty feeling inside her. Now let's go meet Oreki-san. The images of the incoming people have been collected and put on the small display screen. She is a beautiful and upright girl with beautiful long hair. This is Ichino-san. Where is Oreki-san? Horikita leaned toward the visible probe. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 337. Why is Ichino's Hanamai here? Ha. 2. Horikita laughed at herself. She acted so immature, so she was still expecting something. Oreki-san had already helped her enough, otherwise she would have dropped out of school the night she was scolded by her brother when she entered school. Moreover, it is said that marrying directly is regarded as a punishment for oneself. Marriage is something that requires both parties to be willing and hope to support and help each other towards a new life. So marriage is for happiness. She felt ashamed that she had just shut herself down for a moment. In this way, Ichino-san. Horikita still chose to open the door. Ichino's Namibori. This person is the monitor of Class B. She is just like Kushida, or even more popular than Kushida. He's a pretty popular guy. At the same time, his academic performance is also very good. But Horikita couldn't make friends with as many people as she did. Oreki-san has probably been in contact with Ichino's many times, and what she said here. Although he was not an absolute stranger, Horikita had never spoken to Ichino's Hanami. People like Kushida claim to be friends with everyone and treat everyone equally. Ichino's and Kushida are of the same type, but she and Ichino's have no relationship, so is Ichino's Hanami here to show her kindness? Ah, Horikita-san, I'm sorry, were you sleeping just now? Seeing Horikita open the door, Ichino's showed her affinity and immediately greeted Horikita. No problem. What's the matter with you? Horikita asked tiredly. I'm not the one who came to see you when something happened. Ichino smiled and stood aside. It was as if she was actively giving up her seat so that the people behind her could be noticed. Why? Horikita was a little surprised. Because she saw Oreki Houtarou standing up directly from behind Ichino's. Why? Horikita repeated. If it was just Ichino's who appeared alone. She might not be able to find the reason yet, maybe she thought something was wrong with Ichino's, but now Oreki also appeared, and he was with Ichino's. So it is indeed like this. They came to persuade her and comfort her. She must have behaved humiliatingly enough in the classroom to make him worry, so he followed her, but she probably felt that it was hard to persuade him as a boy, so he asked Ichino's to come and help. After thinking about it for a while, Horikita-Susan felt very complicated. Horikita was standing at the door, so in order to speak easily, Oreki put one hand on the wall, trapping her like a half-wall. I have something to say. The sound of the kettle boiling at 100 degrees Celsius could be heard in the room. The air seemed to be frozen. P.S. Rua. Today's update is here, please vote, please vote, please vote monthly. Also recommend the Big Brother's book. Chapter 131. Ichino's, maybe I shouldn't be here. I should be under the car. Oreki-san pushed Horikita-san to the wall. The air seemed to be frozen. Horikita-Susan looked up at him, and Oreki-san looked directly into her eyes. I received a message that you ran out of the classroom alone this morning, Oreki-san said. And this also explains the purpose of coming. Sure enough, it was because of the problem on her side. Then, let's start dealing with it now. I'm not a person who likes to put things off, Oreki-san said. Get rid of the rumors. If you find a problem, deal with it immediately. If it is possible to prevent and reduce risks, then it is Oreki-san's approach that Horikita-Susan is familiar with. But I am no longer qualified to accept help. Horikita-Susan pressed one hand on the joint of the other hand. According to psychological analysis, this kind of behavior is often a sign of lack of self-confidence. To be precise, she was sorry. Just now, she actually regarded marrying Oreki-san as a punishment for her weakness. But now, Oreki-san came over to lend her a helping hand. She felt shallow. In other words, you think what you did was terrible, Oreki-san said. Yeah, Horikita-Susan nodded. Do you think you are weak? Oreki-san asked again. Yeah, although it would be a little frustrating to admit it, Susan nodded. Only. Then you may not understand you, Oreki said. Do you think you've gone on a rampage a few times? Then, do you think you have grown? Indeed, when Houtarou was 1 point short of failing, you performed well and offered to buy points. Then I was also rewarded with class evaluation points. However, at a time when it's just something that's directed at other people. When it comes specifically to you, you are helpless, Oreki-san said. Because you can't calm down at all. People can't control what they care about. This is nothing to be ashamed of, Oreki said. And your behavior in this rumored incident is disgraceful. Horikita Suzune. Horikita-san, who originally thought she was weak, felt guilty towards Oreki-san. But now I always feel that I am being attacked too much. However, just as he was about to retort, he heard Oreki-san's voice. As expected, you didn't notice, Oreki-san said. Don't you forget about the sports festival? I put 2 recorders on you. You obviously released 2 of them, but you didn't know anything about it? It can almost be said to be slow. Then, when Ryu encountered the false accusation, you were at a loss because the recorder and mobile phone were thrown away. Later, Sakura-san picked them up and gave them back to you, and then you were able to capture Ryu and Ori. Classmate Mew said. And do you think you were lucky then? That's what I arranged for Sakura to do, Oreki said. So, Horikita-sama, you are still a sister? Well. Horikita Suzune didn't know this fact. In other words, when Sakura picked up the voice recorder and returned it to its original owner, she just felt lucky and seized the opportunity to fight back against Ryuan. In the end, was she actually being protected by Oreki-san? So it's the same thing this time, Oreki-san said. Actually, you've been causing me trouble. So, just stick to what you have always done. And I'm used to dealing with your troublesome matters, Oreki-san said. It's better to say that if you delay or retreat without authorization, you will cause trouble for me. Saying this, Oreki-san extended his left hand to her. However, looking at Oreki-san's extended hand, Suzune did not take it immediately. Why do you treat me like this? She still looked weak. Because. Until now, she is just a weak, helpless, and weak sister. She didn't feel like she deserved such help. Why do you think your brother pays me to take your points every month? Oreki asked her a question instead. That was him providing a helping hand to his sister. And now, I believe you need to be aided. Then your mission to him is accomplished. So Oreki-san said. The Horikita-san I met again was almost the same as the sister I happened to meet that night when Horikita was about to drop out of school. I can't see her strength, only her weakness. In other words, this is when she is most cowardly. And being forced like this, there was a wall behind her, and there was no way she could retreat. This is it. Ringtone seemed to pause for a moment. Well, then I'll trouble you this time too. Suzune then held her left hand with both hands. I am very useless, and I realize this very deeply. So, Oreki-san. She held Oreki-san's left hand tightly. Please, continue to help me, she said. Woo. Standing on one side, Ichi knows how felt inexplicably embarrassed. Because she was captured directly by Oreki. Came to help Horikita-san. She owed him a favor, so this was something she wanted to help with. Only. Did these 2 people notice? Their current behavior is like deliberately letting people eat dog food, because Oreki-san said that his brother gave him money to help Horikita Suzune. Then it's about completing tasks and stuff. But. This is clearly an extremely passionate confession. But Horikita Suzune believed it to be true. No, Horikita-san, there's something wrong with you. Your reaction doesn't seem like it's taken for granted, it's more like you're completely dependent on the other person. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 338. Because the correct thing to say is to ask you to help me again, not to ask you to continue to help me. In other words, you have acquiesced that when you are in trouble and find that you can't solve it, you will seek help from Oreki-san. There is only one such person that Ichi knows, and that is family. Many people believe that family members are creatures that make trouble for each other. However, you will also feel bound in the process. Because life is full of these trivial things, but because of the connection between family members, everyone is connected together. So, Horikita-san, do you know what you are expressing with your words and your response? This made Ichi-Nose almost doubt what he was doing for a moment. I doubt that I have arrived at the scene of proposal and acceptance. And they didn't seem to notice it yet. Hug, I'm sorry. Ichi-Nose decided to break the sweet atmosphere. I feel like I've disturbed you too. No, Susan realized that Ichi-Nose was still there. Chapter 132. Ichi-Nose, if someone must be hurt, then I want it to be me. Ichi-Nose is still at the scene. And the sense of presence finally came out. She felt like an audience just now. But she knew she was invited. Ugh, actually, I was invited here by Oreki-san. After all, Horikita-san and I have never spoken, Ichi-Nose said. But as long as I can do it, I will do anything. She expressed her determination. So if there is any place where I can help, you can give me your orders as much as possible. That's it, thank you. Horikita is a very stubborn person. What was very strange was that even though he had already shut himself off just now, when he held Oreki-san's hand and received comfort from him, he felt incredibly calm. So Horikita found that he could listen to them calmly. And also expressed his gratitude. When he said thank you, even Ichi-Nose was surprised. She must have heard people say that Horikita-san is a very difficult person to get along with, but now Horikita-san appears to be reasonable. Is this rumor wrong? On the way here, Oreki-san even gave her some psychological counseling, telling her that she might be rejected or scolded by Horikita-san. And Ichi-Nose also felt that he might be aggrieved. But what now? Horikita-san seems to be easy to get along with. In other words, Horikita-san has really calmed down. Horikita-Susan said. I also thought about the solution before going to the classroom in the morning. Ignore the rumors and don't respond, then other people will find it boring and ignore the rumors themselves, so as long as you use time as a weapon, the rumors will eventually dissipate. This is not just talk, she has dealt with it this way in the past. Because she was not gregarious or unwilling to waste study time doing chores, she was a lonely person in the past. Then there were some classmates who wanted to spread bad words about her deliberately. So she has had this experience before. Then her plan was to ignore it. Because he didn't get a response from her, these bad words gradually disappeared. But this refers to the normal state. The students in this school are abnormal and have been specially selected, and some outrageous people may not be encountered in ordinary schools. So her plan won't work with this rumor. In other words, she has not been subject to this type of rumors in the past. As a younger sister, she has always followed the example of her outstanding brother and wants to work hard, but she is also aware of her own level of strength, so all she can do is not to cause any more trouble to the other party. So, this is her weakness. So, the classmates in the class today were too much and she couldn't control herself at all. He immediately ran away. And such consequences will only make the rumors worse and have a negative impact. Thinking of this, Horikita fell silent for a moment. In other words, after thinking about it, I realized that I really did a bad job in this rumor incident. Shake, run away, and shut down. It's indeed not shameful. It seems like you have calmed down, Oreki-san said. Then let's consider the solution. The most important thing about rumors is the central figure in the rumor, Oreki said. You can use part of your influence to spread it, and you can also use part of your influence to suppress it. At the same time, as the central figure, it's time to respond. It seems like this is really a lot of things. Ichi-Nose clapped his hands gently. Then Horikita-san, please rest first today. Horikita had no objection. Although she wanted to put it to use now, it was obvious that she still couldn't face those classmates immediately and stabilize her emotions. If she could, she wouldn't escape from there. Although he has calmed down incredibly now. But you also have to think about specific solutions. I'm sorry for interrupting your class time. You also missed class. Oreki and Itchy Nose went downstairs together and said to Itchy Nose, "It's no longer lunch break." It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and classes had already started in school. Regardless of whether Horikita took leave or was truant, he and Itchy Nose Hanamai would definitely be judged as truants. And Oreki-san knew that Archangel Itchy Nose was a good student with perfect attendance. "No, it doesn't matter. If I can be useful, that's enough." Itchy Nose shook his head gently. This girl who always seemed optimistic said comforting words, and Horikita-san seems to have already cheered up. Not sure if it was an illusion, but Oreki felt that Itchy Nose seemed to be deliberately rejecting the topic of absenteeism. Then it turns into trying very hard to express kindness. "Probably, I hope she can make some progress," Oreki-san said. "Then I will advise the students in Class B today not to discuss this topic again," Itchy Nose said. "That is to say, the plan for this incident is still to let influential people influence others and suppress this topic. It's just that this is the plan I came up with." As for Oreki-san, what was the original plan? Did you ask Kushida-san to take action? Itchy Nose held the small notebook and exposed his face from the upper edge of the notebook, feeling a little curious. Yes, Oreki-san nodded. She may not be too willing, but she does need her channels to act. Not your channel, Itchy Nose. Archangel Itchy Nose blinked slightly. Because it will destroy interpersonal relationships, Oreki-san said. The price is too high. So we have to let Kushida do it. What can only Kushida do? So Itchy Nose listened carefully. Oreki-san said. Because what I did was to ask Kushida to deliberately spread some more extreme rumors. For example, a large number of second and third year seniors are selling and first year boys are buying, etc. Then the school and the student union have to pay attention to it, and then use their power to combat the rumors, and then follow Horikita. Aren't the rumors on the side also suppressed? Well, Itchy Nose choked for a moment, because this plan would indeed prevent any more rumors. It almost put out the small flames. But this is very rude to the second and third grade seniors and the first grade boys. In other words, for the sake of Horikita-san, do you not care whether you might accidentally injure someone else? And Kushida-san might not be willing, because that's for sure. Because people with better interpersonal relationships can be traced back to the source. Even though she didn't trace it back, some mistakes occurred afterwards, and those friends whom Kushida asked to spread the rumors might also have thoughts about her. So this is a rumor that he wants to cut off his interpersonal relationships. But Oreki-san judged that he could do this at the beginning, which means that the relationship between Kushida-san and him has been so good that it doesn't matter even if he takes the blame. Oreki-san is really popular. Itchy Nose sighed in his heart. At the same time, I also feel that this method is too good to let her do it. It's not that I don't want to help, but this kind of behavior is very rude. It protects Horikita-san, but hurts many people. She doesn't like hurting others. If someone must be hurt, then she wants that person to be hurt. And things were handled quickly. In the evening, Oreki-san and Itchy Nose went to meet Horikita-san again. And she had recovered enough to go out with them to have tea and discuss things. In this way, the next day, just as planned, Susan Horikita came to school. Although the rumors this time have changed, when they spread, they were not the same as the original versions. But the basic core is that Horikita Susan is the sister of the student council president. And as long as you know this, then, you can catch it and use it as a weapon to attack. But none of the students in Oreki's class took advantage of this to attack Horikita Suzuan. Rather, everyone is confident, because Oreki-san often has private meetings with Horikita-san. So, attacking Horikita-Suzun is basically equivalent to offending Oreki-san. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 339. At the same time, some students also know that Horikita-Suzun has a huge number of points exceeding 5 million. And she is the sister of the student council president, so the president is about to graduate. If he graduates, wouldn't it be possible to transfer the points to Horikita-Suzun? And Horikita-Suzun is a student in the lower class. If you get 20 million to fly solo, then you must fly to class A. So, this may be a classmate in the future. So attacking Horikita-Suzun is not a good thing, not to mention that Oreki-san and Sakayanagi Arisu were still talking in class. At that time, the little princess Itaiji said that she asked Oreki if he wanted to use Horikita-san to canvass votes. Take a look. Horikita-san, isn't this very useful? So why attack? As for Ichino's class, when Oreki-san asked Ichinos to help, Archangel Ichinos himself restrained the class. Please don't discuss this matter with everyone in the class. And then Ryuan's class, let's not mention this for now. In this way. In fact, the only one who has to deal with it is Horikita-Suzun's own class. Rumors in the class have been circulating for 3 days. And this rumor needs to be dealt with before making any plans. The method is very simple. Ichinos said that rumors are spread by very popular people, so a popular person is needed to help. And this choice. Kushida Kikyo is the best, but she still has a hole that Horikita hates because she takes the blame, so she can't be entrusted to her now. Oreki also noticed that Horikita-san started to cheer up and take action, so adding a little more difficulty to her made her feel like that. So let's let Horikita-san continue to treat Kushida as the mastermind. In this way, another popular member of Class D was entrusted. That is Yasukirita. This almighty man. Can I delay everyone's time for a little bit? I have something to tell you. Yasukirita stood on the podium after the first period of Chibashira's history class. Chibashira noticed the situation and did not leave. So he stood at the door. Chapter 133 Kushida, let me take the blame, and then make me feel the horror? Chibashira stood at the door. In the past 2 days, the news that Horikita-Suzun is the younger sister of the student council president has been circulating in the school. The specific source is Hashinomi Yachiet. Chia asked her if she had known about this for a long time, and then said that since she knew that Horikita-Suzun had such an identity, why she no longer paid attention to and devoted herself to the class competition. This is rather strange. Because Class B in the Star Palace is far away from Class A, so what she needs to pay attention to is the affairs of Class A. In the end, she was always in charge of Class D here? Yes. This time the class returned to Class D. This made Chibashira somewhat confused about the thoughts of Hashinomi Ya's friend. Because he has no fighting spirit, shouldn't it be a good thing for the Palace of Stars? After all, the Star Palace has been guarding against her coming here since she went to school in the past. As for Horikita-san, she is the sister of the student council president. Chibashira actually already knew this, and even used it to manipulate Horikita-san. But the man behind Horikita-Suzun, Oreki Houtarou, easily dealt with it. Then, it is abnormal that this rumor can be circulated to this day. Judging from the speed with which Oreki Houtarou handled her attempt to take advantage of Horikita-Suzun, something was wrong. So, from her point of view, there is actually a push hand or something deeper. And now, is this the time for this rumor to be dealt with? So in other words, the person who released the rumors has achieved his goal. Chibashira thought. Hirata didn't pay attention to her, he had his own work. Although I feel like everyone should know that what I want to say is about Horikita-san. That rumor was spread intentionally. Yasuke Hirata put his hands on the podium as if to appeal. Someone did such a despicable thing. Do you still remember what happened at the sports festival? At that time, Ryuan used despicable methods to bully Syudo in our class, and even Horikita-san also worked hard for it. Although we lost in the end, we showed ourselves in the final 1,200-meter relay. Hirata said. And this time when the new semester comes, our class, which had the worst grades, doesn't have a single failing student, so we are being targeted. Although I don't want to think so, there are probably people who don't want to be good to us, so they want to divide us. But someone had already heard it? Hirata is going to clear the ground for Horikita. Put all the blame on Long Yuan. What kind of person Ryuan was immediately recalled by the boys who had experienced it at the sports festival. Foul, oh, now it's surrounded by dust, who can see it, the camera can't even capture it, everyone is there, let me take advantage of the victory. My target is Syudo, get out of here if you don't want to get hurt. This is a completely bad image of Ryuan. So it's that bastard Ryuan again. As the bullied Syudo, he stood up immediately. Because he was the one who was bullied the most by Ryuan during the sports festival. Not only that, during the holidays, someone saw that our classmate Koenji was also surrounded by Ryuan and the others as if cooperating with the performance. Hospi Haruka, one of the girls, also stood up and said. Yes, I've also heard about this thing as Hospi's friend, Sakura-san also stood up. In fact, Sakura wanted to help Horikita-san when she was besieged by those students. But she is shy and introverted. When someone stares at her, she will instantly become intimidated. And now, if she could help, she would definitely be willing. Haha Koenji, who had just been suddenly caught as an example, combed his blonde hair. He already understood that Oreki-san was probably going to take action. But such remarks were very effective, and soon there were voices questioning the rumors in the class. But Horikita-san is really the student council president's sister, right? But someone also raised an opinion. The person speaking now happens to be the person who wanted Horikita to give the test answer yesterday morning. Even though it is a rumor, there are countless false elements in it. Moreover, we are obviously worried about Horikita-san, and yet she said so much. Even if we were suddenly told that she stood out because of her contribution to the class, and then was targeted, it would be emotionally unacceptable. Several girls stood up and spoke. This was the dispute between these people and Horikita yesterday. As for Yamauchi, who was a fool at the beginning, he found that all his words had been robbed. But Horikita Susan was silent now. She looked at Kushida-san sitting in the front row. Kushida has a lot of friends, and Oreki said that Kushida was the mastermind of this incident. So, were these people also ordered by Kushida-san at this time? It seems that just the effect of the voice recorder cannot seal Kushida. Horikita Susan thought. The first thing she did when she came to school today was pass by Kushida. Then he took the recorder that recorded Kushida's incredible words and deeds during the sports festival. As a result, does Kushida-san still have room to instruct these people? And now Kushida-san. Of course Kushida-san has no leeway now. Why did you start clearing up the rumors without informing me? Didn't I say that I would clarify to her that I was just taking the blame? She just came to the classroom today, then she looked towards me and showed the recorder. It shows that she is completely unaware, still think of me as the mastermind. She has an incredible recording of me in her hand. If it were released, I would be dead on the spot. Very scary, okay. She was sending a message to Oreki Houtarou. And ask for help. Because it's scary. Horikita has calmed down, so if Horror regards her as the mastermind, then it is okay to attack the mastermind. Horikita Suzun is the kind of person who doesn't understand people's hearts and is very stubborn. Then it is also possible to release the recorder directly. So Kushida felt the pressure. Don't be afraid, Horikita Suzun is very rational now by Oreki. Kushida. Don't be afraid of it. Horikita Suzun ran out of the classroom yesterday, so there was no sense left. Kushida felt that now he could only save himself by trying to gain a positive impression of Horikita Suzun. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 340. After all, she was still a friend of Horikita-san in the class, and she gave up on teaming up with her best friend Wang Miu in the matching exam, and then teamed up with Horikita Suzun. So in the eyes of others, their relationship is quite good. These days, there are rumors about Horikita Suzun, and it is indeed strange that she has not played a positive role. So let's express our attitude now. However, little angel Kushida just stood up to help speak, but found that Horikita Suzun spoke herself. Although I don't really want to mention it, there are girls in my class who have strong opinions on me, Horikita Suzun said. Chapter 134 Horikita Suzun's Acting Skills. Counterattack. Kushida, you can act better than me. Last night in her dormitory, Oreki and Ichinose came over again to discuss the details of the response, and then Horikita Suzun opened her heart. To be precise, she regained her composure after being comforted by Oreki-san. After they went to class, Doza took a shower alone. Finally calmed down completely. And that's what she said at the time. There are girls in the class who have problems with me. For example, those girls who had direct conflicts with me, and then there must be some people who are unhappy with me. This is what she said. Isn't she quite self-aware? There are only 20 girls, and then she gets upset with half of them. What kind of bad interpersonal relationship is this? These people, there's no problem, Oreki-san replied to her. I'll arrange for someone else to handle it. And now, these girls jumped out again. Refuse Hirata to clear the ground for Horikita. As long as we control those few people, they are not very prominent existence in the first place, and it is easy to control them, because rumors are rumors after all, and most people actually don't care that much, and spread them, the realism will be greatly reduced. And now they are still spreading because no one is stopping them, so we just need to create ways to prevent them from spreading. That's what Oreki told her. In the final analysis, we have to create a prohibitive environment, so how do we do it? There are still some people who are disgusted with me. Horikita had doubts at that time. And now is the time for revelation. At this time, just shoot the first bird and it will be fine. Kurosawa Megami, who was sitting in his seat and playing with his mobile phone, suddenly said, "Wow, it's really true that someone would believe that kind of rumor." It was obviously just a casual voice, but it made everyone else fall silent. Because this is the position of a domineering person among girls. As soon as she opened her mouth, the girl who was still about to quarrel with Horikita suddenly lost her arrogance. Because this girl is the classmate Yoshiko Utada who was controlled by Ryuan before and then betrayed Kurosawa. And Kurosawa was already looking at the others with disdain. It was said that the student council president would inform Horikita about the content and direction of the exam, but I guess that's impossible. Because there are 2 students from class A in the student union? They are called Katsuragi-san and Kito. Are they cheating every time they take the exam? And this is impossible. If you can cheat if you join the student union, then everyone will want to join. A student union, and it is the student union of our school, will have this kind of ethics, right? And since they have it, doesn't the student union president also have it? Kurosawa said, if the student council president were my brother, then he would definitely not tell me the answer. Because he has to lead by example, and he is actually the one who is monitored the most. The greater the power, the greater the responsibility. I don't think such a student president brother will give the answer to his sister easily. Kuruzawa's words were very long, but Yoshiko Utada, who had just spoken, felt a little embarrassed. She was speechless because of the question. Anyway, these are basic principles. It would be strange for someone to think about violating them. Kuruzawa's teammate Sato also stood up. I can't understand you, she said. After finishing speaking, there was a gap of more than 10 seconds. Because except for some people in the class, it is difficult to understand, but some people will still understand some things. Otherwise, there would not have been 11 students willing to spend money on the first day of school to listen to the information that Oreki-san came to sell. And Kuruzawa continued. If you want to think about it the other way around, then if the student council president has selfish motives and you bully his sister like this, are you dissatisfied that you haven't dropped out of school yet? Kuruzawa looked aggressive now, and did you think what Hirata-san said just now was wrong? Do you think your thinking is clearer than Hirata-san's? Okay, please don't use that tone. Mr. Hirata hurriedly came to smooth things over. Well, no, we don't really believe those rumors, right? The girl who was criticized immediately went down the steps. Then they whispered to each other and then stopped talking. Because Kuruzawa directly turned things around and made these people want to fight Hirata. Hirata-kun is very popular in Class D. It is said that in order to prevent conflicts among classmates, he even resigned from the regular team of the football club. Who can directly confront him? They didn't want to fight against Hirata at all. And no one told them that if they offended Horikita Suzune, they would be expelled from the school by the student council president. They just see Horikita being unhappy and collect money to do things. Kuruzawa and the others directly suppressed the girls who surrounded Horikita yesterday. By the way, is Kuruzawa also the person you support, by Haruka Hospi? I always think she is very fierce. Oreki-san also had an insider from Class D, and the other party quickly passed on the information. And the same news that Horikita Suzune finally started to deal with the rumors actually spread to different classes. The students who had spies in Class D were informed of the current situation in Class D. It's just that these are basically done by letting other people help. What about Horikita Suzune herself? Oreki-san sent a message. Beep. Horikita Suzune's phone vibrated on the table, and she noticed a message from Oreki-san. There is blank content above. But she knew it was a signal. So Horikita Suzune stood up obediently. Can I say a few words, Hirata-kun? What? Others looked over. Horikita Suzune stood up, then bent down slightly. I'm sorry. This apology surprised almost everyone paying attention. Because Horikita Suzune would actually apologize. And why did she apologize? I said something outrageous to you yesterday morning. I should calm down, Horikita said. What she is talking about here is that when she ran out of the classroom yesterday, she also yelled at other people a few times. It seemed like nothing serious at the time, but others must have been talking about her after she left. The girl who was yelling at Horikita didn't expect Horikita to say that, but now that everyone was looking over, she had no choice but to bite the bullet and say, well, we probably went too far. It's like the two parties reconciled with each other. Well. That's the end of it. Hirata, who only cares about the harmony of the class, is very satisfied with the current situation. But this is not the end. Also, can I say one more thing? Horikita Suzune continued, I'm not very good at getting along with others, but I like this class very much, so I participate in study sessions every time there is a written test. I hope everyone we can live together for 3 years without leaving each other. So, can you move forward with me? The air seemed to have stopped. Probably no one could have imagined that such a cold-blooded Horikita could be so humble and passionate about the class. Some people have already remembered what Horikita-san did along the way. Although he cursed people at the study meeting, he took the trouble to give them questions. He also noticed Tsuyoda's things last semester, and then taught them a lesson, asking everyone to chase Yuta back, and then invited Takahiraji. Although the class failed in the end, it also made an appearance. Aren't these all manifestations of her love for the class? Don't you hope that the class will perform better and better? It was like the air had been sucked out of me. Papa, the stunned Hospi classmate, was the first to clap his hands. The others were stunned for a moment, and then clapped their hands, and more people clapped their hands. Yes, let's unite and work hard. I also hope that by the end of 3 years, we will have more than one person here, Hirata Yasuke said. So the topic immediately turned to loving the class. In other words, now, there is no one to continue the rumors. In other words, most people feel that they need to gain new insights into Horikita Suzune. In other words, someone wants to get in touch with her and become friends with her. Zhizzy. Kushida picked up the pen in a way that appealed to his heart, but he couldn't break it. If at first I was just worried about being targeted by Horikita Suzune, then the recorder would be exposed. But now, she found that Horikita Suzune had turned to another level. That was the step she hadn't considered. At first, she thought that Horikita Suzune might use her side to be the mastermind and expose her tactics, but now it's completely different. Because she had no idea that Horikita Suzune was so good at acting. Yes. This is definitely an act. The love for the class and the fact that everyone has been helping each other for 3 years are all fake. Because she has always known that Horikita Suzune has been thinking about saving up 20 million to leave this garbage-like place. So, this is acting. Just to gain other people's approval, and rumors can leak out. The big reason is that this person's status is not high enough, so it can be slandered, but when Horikita Suzune came to act in this drama, she became a companion, who would say bad things about their companions. And in this way, the matter was solved directly. And because they are companions, no one has the nerve to refuse. Therefore, the points will still go to her. In other words, just perform it and it's over. Well done.